Hey there, I'm Alan Matthews from Classical Guitar Shed, and in this video we will answer the question, what is musical phrasing? Whenever we talk about phrasing, what does that even mean? It does have a definition, and we're going to get into it right here. If you enjoy this, please do subscribe to this channel. So before we start talking about phrasing and what this means, phrasing, expression, expressive playing, first off we need to review the four elements of music, and these are pitch, rhythm, volume, and tone. So there are other words for these, but the four elements, all the four levers that we use to create music is created of. The four ingredients are the pitch, that's what notes we're actually playing. And this is true whether you're playing the tuba or the piano or the guitar. We have the notes that we're playing. We also have the rhythm, and this is how the notes fit in time. So this is the music that's written on the page. So if you have quarter notes and eighth notes, it's all that. It's also, if we slow down or speed up, it's also the end of the note. If we clip the note short versus have them nice and smooth and connected, then this is the way that the note is operating in time. Does it go for this long and then stop and then have a gap and then another? That has to do with time. So that's rhythm. The next is volume, and that is something getting louder? Is it getting quieter? Is it just straight loud? Is it just straight quiet? How loud? So everything to do with volume of the notes is volume. It's also called dynamics in musical nomenclature. The last is the tone, and on the guitar I say tone, the actual word is timbre, and so the timbre of something, T-I-M-B-R-E, this is how we know that a piano is a piano and a guitar is a guitar and a tuba is a tuba. It's the actual sound quality. Now on guitar, especially on solo guitar, then it's all guitar, and so then the differences in tone come from different ways of playing the entrance. So we have, and we have different sound. One is very warm, one is very bright. We can even play it way up here and get different sounds. So this is the different tone qualities. If you play electric guitar, you've got a knob for that. So these are the four levers that create music. And so then phrasing, what is phrasing? Phrasing is how we combine these four different levers. And so each of these is a study unto itself, right? If you're an improviser, if you're playing jazz or some other improvisation, then you're actually choosing the notes. And so then that's part of phrasing, is choosing which notes. And you've also choosing the rhythm of those notes as well. In classical guitar music, we're given the notes and we're given the rhythm. This is like handing an actor a script and saying, here's the scene, here are your lines, do your thing. The thing that actor does is act. And they take what they're given and they create something real from it. They create something with emotional resonance so that it actually communicates something to whoever's seeing it. In the same way with music, we're given the notes. In classical guitar music, we're given the notes, we're given the rhythm, and what we do with it is called phrasing. And so we take those notes and we take those rhythms and then we decide how we're going to play them. So we're given the what, and we then choose the how. We might even be told this section is loud, this section is soft. Within that, we're still going to get louder and softer, right? It's not going to be a straight, I mean, sometimes it will be, but usually there's going to be variation from note to note with the volume. There's also going to be variation between, we can choose how separated are the notes versus how connected, just like we were just talking about. And then how we're going to get louder or get softer. And so here I'm getting loud at the top and then getting quieter as I go down. The opposite way is. So I'm getting louder as I go down. So there are different decisions that we make on how to play it to bring it alive, and that is what phrasing is. So the goal then in our phrasing, whenever we make decisions about phrasing, which we have to, if we're going to do something with our music, then we have to make these decisions. The goal is to communicate a congruent idea. So just like in a movie, if it's a very tender love scene and the actor is playing like a hysterical thing, or if they're playing angry or aggressive, it's not going to work because that's not congruent with the scene. If it's a love scene, there has to be a particular tenderness to it to communicate to the watcher that, oh, this is a love scene, I need to feel warm and fuzzy on this, as opposed to, this is an action sequence and I need to feel scared right here, or something like that. It's just a completely different movie if the actor chooses the wrong type of acting. In the same way, if we're given something in music and we choose the wrong way to do it, then it's not going to communicate what it is that we want to communicate or that the composer wanted to communicate. So there are things, just like in the acting scenario, there are ways that actors can act tender, right? They're the ways they use their facial muscles, the way that they use their speech and the pace of their speech and their tone quality of their voice, everything to communicate this is a love scene, this is a tender moment, beyond just the words, right? Body language, everything. In the same way, there are rules and tendencies on the guitar and in music that typically will make things happen in a particular way. For instance, going down and getting loud typically gives the music more forward momentum, just like we were just talking about. Even if you don't rail the bottom note, it's going to drive the music forward. And then so the communication here is excitement. We want to keep listening to that. You can go to classicalguitarshed.com/phrasing, PHRASING, and you'll find tons of these different rules and tendencies that we can use that most of the time they're going to be a great decision to communicate whatever it is that we're wanting to communicate. So just like in acting, there are ways to do certain things. In music, there are ways to do certain things that just work better than other ones. So if you have never been exposed to these ideas, then you could just be making it up and then, in effect, bad acting, right? You could just be doing bad acting. We all know bad acting when we see it, but there is a musical equivalent, and you don't have to do that if you can just learn a few little rules and tendencies and tricks to make better phrasing decisions. So with that said, there are more than one right answer for any of these decisions. With this little phrase, is this the way I'm playing it, is that the best way to play it? Not necessarily. There are many right answers, but there are also, if something is wrong, it's just wrong. And so if it just doesn't work, if there is a desired communication, if we want it to be a love song, there is a way just to be flat out wrong with our decision. If we play it brash and if this is supposed to be a tender love song and we're playing it in a way that is not tender at all and is more aggressive and abrupt, if we're stretching time in funny ways or speeding up in weird spots, then it's not going to work. And so just wrong is wrong. But there are many ways to get it right. And so that's where music is subjective, but it's not completely subjective. So this is musical phrasing. Phrasing is, just to recap, how we use the four elements of music to communicate the musical ideas that were given by the composer or that we're making ourselves. So they are, again, pitch, the notes, the rhythm, the volume of the notes, and the tone quality of our playing. So take that, have fun with those, play with each of them in turn, and see what you think. And go over to classicalguitarshed.com/phrasing, and you'll find a whole bunch of ways to play with your music. All right, please subscribe to this channel, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.